From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Good morning, everybody. Please come in and make your way. We are getting started. We'll begin this morning with the roll call. Madam Clerk.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Parlier.
Here.
Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. And good morning to the public and all those watching from home. Welcome to the Tuesday, January 14, 2025, 9 a.m. meeting of the Board of Supervisors in Kern County. We will begin today's meeting with the flag salute, led today by our very own and new Supervisor Parlier. Welcome again. Following the Pledge of Allegiance, please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Today's Pet of the Week is going to be a little different because our very own Nick Colin is in Los Angeles assisting with the many victims of the chaotic, traumatic fire events in Southern California. Kern County is participating. Our fire department is there, and we're going to hear from our chief momentarily. But we have our animal services director there with other animal services directors around the state that are helping our such glorious furry friends, are members of our family, horses, all animals of every capacity that you can imagine are in crisis in Los Angeles, and Kern County family are there to assist that process. So today I'm going to make the presentation on Pet of the Week, and the beloved 5-month-old male Queensland Heeler mix is named Clark Kent, and there he is. And his spirit is consistent with the spirit of our Animal Services Department and our director, who has taken his superhuman powers down south to give some TLC and love to our neighbors around the state and to do his part. But certainly in Kern County, we can do our part to address our challenges here in animal welfare, and we need lots and lots of adopters. We need lots of people participating and helping us manage, control our overpopulation. So this is one opportunity to do so. If you are a superhero fan, or perhaps one secretly yourself, then this is an appropriate match for you. Clark Kent, he's certainly ready for a forever home, and I'm sure he will change yours forever. Thank you. Is that enough on that, Kathy? Okay, very good. Moving along, we're going to begin the actual agenda on the consent matters, and consent matters can be handled at one time. They are listed with a capital C, capital A, and they are considered routine and non-controversial by county staff. They can be considered first and approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions, of course you may do so, and we may pull the matter if a member of the board wishes to, and we will hear it in its normal listed sequence. Let's see. A member of the public may also comment on closed session items, but now we will begin with consent. Consent matters begin on page 2, and they include items 1, 2, and 3. Also, item 6. On page 3, items 9 through 13. Short consent matter this morning, or consent agenda. Is anyone here that would like to comment on a matter on consent? If so, please come down now. Thank you, good morning, welcome, all that good stuff. Good morning. Your name, please.
My name is Marissa Foles. I'll try that again. My name is Marissa Foles. And I wanted to speak on item number 10.
Item number 10.
Okay, ready?
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name is Marissa Foles.
Thank you.
Okay, please, I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so for years, I've worked doing home visits in East Kern, all through COVID, providing the service to families that were in need. A majority of the families that I worked with are thriving now. So my comment is, this is an amazing program. And I want to commend CAP for all the work they do for helping the young people in Kern County, because they do some fantastic work. That's all I wanted to say.
That's it.
That's it. Thank
Oh,
you.
that's a nice way to start off the morning. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for your input, and I'm happy to hear that it has been beneficial and useful in ways that are meaningful. That's what we're supposed to be doing, so that's nice and encouraging. Thank you. Any other members of the public on consent? Okay, I'll return to my colleagues for action.
Got a motion to approve consent?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, moving on. Our next item, since we have none on public presentations this morning, or excuse me, public requests and appointments, we will move to public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on matters not on today's agenda. If you want to talk on matters that are on the agenda, we will get to that momentarily. But this is for matters not on our agenda, but within the proper jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. We ask that you please respect and honor our 2-minute limitations. I understand that isn't always perfect, but we appreciate your efforts to do so, that we keep our meeting moving along expeditiously. So, sir, good morning, welcome, and your name, please.
Jess Sanders.
Morning.
And I'd like to address the board about a recent paper put out for not upholding the law and removing illegal aliens as needed according to law. Just a question to the board. The man arrested for starting the Kenneth fire was an illegal alien. Do you think he should be removed or no?
Wow.
Yes or no? Because according to an article that you wrote, it's atrocious that we'd be removing illegal aliens.
Jess, this is not a Q&A session, and you know
Okay,
that. Please
so
provide
then,
your statement.
let's move on then. The fact that we have illegal aliens here, they're here illegally. They're not moving just people that are here illegal. They're moving illegal criminals. And you're elected as an official to uphold our laws, not just the ones you like.
That's
So
correct.
just a few facts about, because I hear a lot of what the benefits are of illegals being here. Here's a few facts off the web. 43% of the food stamps given to illegals are given to illegals. 95% of the warrants issued for murder in Los Angeles are for illegals. Less than 2% of the illegals are picking crops. 41% of those illegals are on welfare. More than 66% of all the California illegals are born on Medi-Cal. 60% of the HUD occupants are illegal. 39% of California students are illegals. 75% of Los Angeles wanted criminals are illegals. 50% of all gang members in California are illegal. All of these illegals are taking from the citizens and the taxpayers of America. We should be defending Americans, not illegal criminals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Looks like Mr. Robles is making his way to the mic. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Board. My name is Ralph Robles, R-O-B-L-E-S, and I am a veteran. And at the last session of this board, Ms. Amy Espinoza mentioned the RFOs and RFIs that she is sending out for purchases. I'd like to remind this board of my request for the RFOs and RFIs related to the security cameras and their costs, which I have yet to receive from Ms. Espinoza. And I'd also like to remind you that after spending $2.7 million on those particular reference purchases, she has provided no metric measure on of improvements or degradations in our election process. My personal observation is that our election process has actually degraded to a very great extent. I also requested under CPRA the technical data on the security cameras for the ballot boxes, and I have yet to see anything. By the way, they were from end to end, that is from the cameras all the way to the display panel in Ms. Espinoza's section. I have yet to see that. In fact, I don't think Ms. Espinoza has provided a single metric of performance for any of the expenditures in her office. I would like to make a formal CPRA on her expenditures so far for the last year and her proposed expenditures for the new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robles. Morning, Mr. Shin.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Good morning to the board. My name is Charles Shin. I am a retired Marine, a concerned citizen. God bless America. I have right here a CD that I got, which is supposed to be the voter rolls. This is November 5th. There's only 94,000 records on this, which is about 19% of the total 466,000 records. So this is inadequate for any kind of serious review. By the way, this record starts with A, goes through part of C, and then jumps all the way down to about halfway through Y and ends in Z. So everything in the middle of the alphabet is missing.
Mr. Shin, where did you get that from?
This is from the Elections Department.
Okay.
This is what we've been requesting to get serious and complete records for the last 8 months. After we mentioned the 54,000 voter roll increase that happened in February, and then 18 days later, the decrease, and we were told that was an old program. Well, there's another adjustment that we have yet to mention we'll talk about at some future date. The premise for getting voter roll information comes from the Elections Code 19003, permissible uses, which is record review for any person to conduct an audit of voter roll registration lists for election, scholarly, journalistic, political, and governmental purposes. Record review includes, but is not limited to, detecting voter roll registration fraud, evaluating voter roll registration information accuracy, and evaluating compliance with applicable federal and California laws. I would just draw a correlation to public services and what we're seeing happen in LA with the highest paid folks living in the United States in California receiving less than minimum services with the fires that are going on and inability for government to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Any other public speakers? Thank you. Good morning.
I've got a good morning to you. Good morning, board. My name is Russell Person, P-E-R-S-O-N, like in people. Concerned Citizens does welcome goodwill from all parties to ensure current elections are the best they can be moving forward. We have brought many issues, errors, and neglect forward in hope of remedy. We believe the Elections Department would be more efficient and Kern County would be better served if the auditor, controller, registrar of voters, and county clerk were separated back to the previous structure of two separate and dedicated departments, led by two separate and dedicated officials. To make the necessary improvements we seek to our Elections Department. Amy Espinosa stated that the HAVA grant funding of $3.7 million to improve system upgrades and security have not been fully used. She stated that the purchase of a sorter for $503,078.16 was the only expenditure to date. We would like to know if the security cameras for live streaming by both elections officials and citizens that she believes are too expensive can qualify under this funding. When Amy assumed office in 2023 and assured a comparison of vendor services in 2025, we look forward to that pursuit and ask that she make clear to the public those comparisons. We also note that she should secure the software keys to review data and maintain continuous control over the ballots with reconciliation, not merely remain only able to maintain a count of ballot facsimiles. Amy said concerns don't make it to her until after public meetings are held. We note that this obviously does not preclude her from following up on concerns or making contact with our speakers. All our names, emails, phone numbers have been given to her. When Amy said it is hard to respond, not knowing who to respond to, we suggest she respond with valuable information to the public during the Board of Supervisors meetings, since the concerns affect all citizens and elected officials governing our elections.
Thank you, Mr. Person.
Good morning, Dennis McLean, MC, capital L-E-A-N.
Morning, Dennis.
Morning, Madam Chair and board members. We have asked to meet with Amy Espinosa and the Elections Department on intermittently but regular basis to work together on strengthening our trust in elections and to address concerns. To date, she has refused to schedule these meetings. In addition to a lack of contact, meetings, or public answers to concerns, Amy has yet to attend even one Board of Supervisors committee meeting to address issues, clarify information, limit vulnerabilities, or explore best practices. Our hope is that Amy will engage with public in a healthy discourse, consider and implement recommendations proposed for the committee work. Leadership requires best efforts to meet the needs of the citizens who elect a person to a place of authority. We call on Amy to partner with this board and concerned citizens in identifying weaknesses, seeking solutions, seeking transparent and accurate processes and record keeping, and working together to make our elections free, fair, and trustworthy. As a final note, we maintain a great concern and require assurances that all election maps have been reviewed and cleared as accurate. We know candidate races, affected boards, voters, election materials were adversely affected by the lack of competency in maintaining accurate maps in our general election in 2024. We request dedicated staff to make a top priority and once all maps have been verified as accurate. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Any other members of the public for the public speaking portion? I see somebody coming down now. Anybody else? Okay, looks like we'll be wrapping that up soon. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Anna, first name A-N-A, last name Medel, M-E-D-E-L. Over the last week, residents of this county have been fearful of their livelihoods of the terrorizing forces of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Over the last week, citizens and non-citizens alike have been targeted by these organizations on a basis almost entirely of race and ethnicity. I come here today requesting that your board make this county a sanctuary county. Across California, there are numerous cities and counties that have adopted laws or policies that hinder U.S. Customs and Border Patrol's ability to intimidate. Policies vary from stopping local law enforcement from aiding U.S. Customs and Border Patrol to providing resources to non-citizens, such as legal assistance. Some of these policies reiterate what is stated in state law. Senate Bill 54, Law Enforcement, signed into law in 2017 by Governor Jerry Brown, states explicitly, quote, prohibits state and local law enforcement agencies from using money or personnel to investigate, interrogate, detain, detect, or arrest persons for immigration purposes, end quote. Though I can't say I am well versed in the current laws in Kern County regarding the extent to which KCSO or BPD can interact with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, I do believe that the actions that have taken place over the last week warrant that your board review any existing laws and policies in place. It is through these events, as well as a recent rape charge against Kern County Sheriff Sergeant, that today I am also calling for the defunding of KCSO. I believe money going to Kern County Sheriff's Office can be reallocated to other departments that can help, that will aid this community in more efficient ways. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other members of the public would like to speak at this time? Okay, we're going to close the public hearing portion, and I want to thank everybody for your comments this morning. I was expecting more on the Border Patrol issue because it's obviously front and center, and this is the place where we come together and with respect and civility work out such matters. So I'm surprised there aren't more people here, but I do think it's an opportunity, since we are closed with the public portion and we're moving to board member announcements and reports, to address some of these issues. I heard comments from Mr. Sanders this morning that were completely inaccurate. That's not the first time that has happened. So I think it is important to clarify for the record what is accurate, what is legal. I know that our sheriff is here with his staff, and they are available if necessary, if the conversation moves in that direction, to approach or to address the public as well. But for now, I would ask that our county council help us in trying to parse through what are clearly very complicated, challenging issues as it relate to preemption with federal matters over state law. Very, very complicated. They're complicated for this board and also for this body. So we need to work through them together and make sure that we are compliant, that we are doing that as neighbors and with civility. That is my commitment. So thank you. I'm going to ask County Council to give us some direction here so that we don't have accusations and rumors guiding this conversation. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My intent is to not discuss those issues that might be better handled or explained by the Sheriff's Office, but as we discussed yesterday, there does seem to be some, it's not even confusion, just some legitimate questions asked about how federal law interacts with state law, and especially when it comes to the area of immigration, which immigration is a matter that is under the control of federal laws, so it would initially seem incompatible that California has some laws that direct how law enforcement interacts or engages in issues of immigration. So as you stated, it is the area of preemption and the supremacy clause. Law students take an entire year of constitutional law and still don't necessarily understand it very well. So it is a weighty, complicated subject, but I've got as much as I could, a kind of a layman's approach to explaining why what's going on in California is and why it's currently legal. So Senate Bill 54, which is the California so-called sanctuary state law, it was enacted in 2017. And it limits local law enforcement's discretion to cooperate with immigration authorities. In fact, Senate Bill 54 prohibits the Kern County Sheriff's Office from asking an individual about their immigration status, enforcing immigration law, or deporting individuals, or participating in immigration sweeps. In 2018, the United States actually sued the state of California to enjoin the state from being able to enforce Senate Bill 54 on the basis of the Supremacy Clause. The Supremacy Clause provides that federal laws are the supreme law of the land. State courts are bound to follow this supreme law, and in the case of a conflict between federal and state law, the federal law prevails and preempts the state law. The United States, in the lawsuit, argued that federal law regarding illegal immigration takes precedence over state laws to the contrary, such as Senate Bill 54. The United States claimed that Senate Bill 54 was an obstacle to the enforcement of federal immigration laws. In 2019, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal ruled against the United States and in favor of California on this point. The court reasoned that the 10th Amendment and other provisions of the Constitution prohibit the federal government from compelling the states to implement federal regulatory program. The 10th Amendment spawned the anti-commandeering rule, which is a long-standing Supreme Court principle that prohibits the federal government from requiring the state to adopt or enforce federal law. The Ninth Circuit found that the 10th Amendment and the anti-commandeering rule gave California the right to refrain from assisting with federal efforts regarding illegal immigration. The United States then appealed this decision to the U.S. Supreme Court, which declined to hear the case in 2020. By not granting review of the Ninth Circuit Court's decision, the Supreme Court left Senate Bill 54 intact, and it remains good law, which must be followed by local law enforcement. So when there are a couple of actual quotes from the Ninth Circuit opinion that I thought kind of summed it up in very, kind of very human terms. One says, federal schemes are inevitably frustrated when states opt not to participate in federal programs or enforcement efforts, but the choice of a state to refrain from participation cannot be invalid under the doctrine of obstacle preemption, where, as here, it retains the right of refusal. And the other one that I thought was interesting is Senate Bill 54 may well frustrate the federal government's immigration enforcement efforts. However, whatever the wisdom of the underlying policy adopted by California, that frustration is permissible because California has the right, pursuant to the anti-commandeering rule, to refrain from assisting with federal efforts. So that is how when we discussed yesterday and talked about how the Supremacy Clause or preemption would just kind of leave you thinking, well, why doesn't the federal immigration practice and policies and rules take precedence? And it's because the case and those very issues have gone through the court system, and Senate Bill 54 has been allowed to remain law.
Counsel, that is extremely helpful, and I really appreciate it. I was unaware of that history. The Supreme Court usually grants cert or takes up about 3% of the cases that come before them, and they take those cases to settle areas of the law that are unclear, to address maybe new matters that have not fully been litigated and thought about because things change all the time. And this is the nature of the Supreme Court and the nature of American jurisprudence. So what it means by the Supreme Court denying cert or putting it in the category of 97% of cases they just don't touch, they are agreeing legally and frankly politically to leave a matter as it stands based on its previous review. So at the appellate court, SB 54 was upheld. However you feel about SB 54, the ability after that is to challenge it through the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said no thank you. They take 3% of cases on issues they want to clarify the law. A lot of factors go into that. It's determined by the 9 individuals that are there, as you know. Each Supreme Court is different, but this one has declined to hear this matter. It means that law in California is that our local jurisdictions do not participate or extend resources of any nature to assist in that process. Now, as you saw, there are plenty of resources to continue to do the work of the federal government as it relates to its immigration interests, and we are going to see how that's going to play out over the next administration. And we're going to have to continue to work through this together as a community, and hopefully we do that in here respectfully. We follow the law, and we continue to focus on the county's business and the things that are in front of us and that we are capable of influencing. I would ask if anybody from the Sheriff's Department would like to weigh in and help clarify for the public some maybe fears they have or misunderstandings. If not, I understand that too. I can also ask my colleagues if they have some information they'd like to provide or opinions. Not seeing that and not seeing anybody. Oops, excuse me. Supervisor Couch, are you plugged in for this? Forgive me, sorry about that. Seeing no one else, I want to clarify again that our county council has stated for the record what the law is. Thank you for the history on that. I was actually unaware of that. That is incredibly illuminating. But here we are. The law is as it is. It has been articulated by county council, and I don't see any further interest of weighing in on this matter or need to clarify. But I will say that I believe this issue is going to continue to come before us. SB 54 effectively made California a sanctuary state, if you will, for all intents and purposes. It functions that way. And the counties that are within it, all 58, are political subdivisions of the state of California. We are required to follow the laws and the political reality of California. So here we are. I want you to know that I am your partner in working through these very complicated, delicate, difficult issues, and they are difficult for everyone. So thank you. Without seeing more and not seeing an interest to weigh in, we're going to move on. Board member announcements or reports. Colleagues, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I have a
Supervisor
question.
Couch?
Totally different subject, though.
Okay.
I'm curious if we have an update at all on the election issue in the North Kern, South Tulare Hospital District or the Greenfield School District. Thank
you. Supervisor Couch, through the chair, give me just 1 second. There it is. I apologize. I'm having a hard time finding the most recent update, but there is I believe that the hospital district is taking the steps and has noticed a special election that is being scheduled to fill the short-term vacant seat, and that special election will be covering both the Tulare County and Kern County for those issues. So it seems that particular election issue is moving forward, and there's a plan.
Anything on the Greenfield?
Nothing new other than that, as far as I understand, that it is still set to be heard by the court in early February.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch. We are still in the public presentations portion. Excuse me. Board member announcements, what I meant to say. We are in the board member announcements or reports. I understand Supervisor Flores has some comments. I don't see anyone else punched in, but then we're going to have an opportunity to hear from our fire chief as well. Supervisor Flores, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Usually in public comment, I just listen, but every now and then I feel compelled to respond when something's said that I am in disagreement with, respectfully in disagreement with. Defunding the police, I think it's a tragic, in the history of dumb ideas, it's one of the dumbest. And whether you're an immigrant or a legal citizen, what have you, public safety is so important. And I just want to be committed to our public safety departments. All of them are sheriffs, probation, DA, public defender, because that serves everyone. And, you know, if those things go unchecked, it could have terrible repercussions. We went through a couple of years of this, and we're still combating the effects. When Prop 36 passed, we have a lot of work to do, and staffing up our jails, staffing up detentions, helping our line officers. It takes years to recover from these movements. And so I just want to reiterate my disagreement with that and my commitment to public safety. It's the #1 issue in my district, probably all of our districts, and it's something that serves everybody, irrespective of one's status. So that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. Any other comments from colleagues? Okay, under board member board member announcements or reports, I would ask our Chief, Aaron Duncan, to please make his way here. This extraordinary moment. Thank you so much. I saw Senator Adam Schiff posted a picture of the Kern County Fire engine and said, you know, we are neighbors and we come together. It was really, really cool to see Kern County highlighted that way. I sent that to you. We had a nice exchange. Chief, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys so much. In a moment like this, we really get to see with real clear eyes who you are, what you guys do. It is incredibly humbling, and we're so grateful for you. Thank you for being here. We're eager to hear from you, Kern's participation, and to grasp your expertise or garner some wisdom from it. So thank you, Chief. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair and esteemed members of the board. I will tell you, every time I speak to this board, I come to you with my hat in hand as a humble and very proud fire chief. 7 days ago, you know, the fires started down in LA. These are unprecedented fires that, with fire behavior, we haven't seen ever like this. Just a quick update on where we stand today. The Eaton fire is currently at 14,117 acres and is 33% contained. The Palisades fire is 23,713 acres and is currently 14% contained. As total, we're reporting 23 deaths according to CAL FIRE, and we expect those numbers to rise. There's been over 12,000 homes destroyed. And it's not just homes that we're seeing destroyed. We're seeing schools, we're seeing grocery stores, we're seeing critical infrastructure all throughout the community, something we don't ever typically see. And I will tell you today, we're expecting more wind. What they saw a week ago was 100 mile an hour winds through the Southland. That's like taking a blowtorch and putting a jet motor behind it and said, let's go. Today, they're expecting up to 75 mile an hour winds. So we need to remain vigilant. This fight is not over, and it's going to be ongoing for a little while. Well, what is your Kern County Fire Department doing to assist? You know, when we have the Burrell fire, when we have the French fire, we know that we can't handle that fight by ourselves. We have to call our neighbors and see if they can come help us. And we didn't waste any time. We started getting on the phones. We started talking to the fire chiefs down there, and we responded. We didn't wait for orders. We said, what do you need? We'll send it. We'll figure out the paperwork later, and that's what we did. So currently deployed down south, you have 170 Kern County firefighters. That represents almost a third of my department.
Oh my goodness.
We have 23 frontline fire engines out there. That represents about half of our frontline fire engines committed down south. We have 4 hand crews, we have 4 dozers, and we have 1 USAR task force that is assisting with search and rescue. And we have numerous other management positions helping to do management roles down south. I just want to reiterate, it's a team approach. You cannot do this without mutual aid resources, and we are answering the call. But I also want to reassure the residents of Kern County that your home is still protected. I know it sounds like I've committed a lot down there, but we have a robust reserve staff. We are fully staffed. We are not short any positions right now. Firefighters are answering the call. They're coming back to work. I don't have a single mandatory today. Everyone's volunteering to come back. All the stations are filled. Everything is run status quo. We are ready for anything. So we are actually staffed today as we were 2 weeks ago. Nothing has changed. Our home is protected. We are here for you if something happens here. You know, we really care about our firefighters a lot, and we talk about how the Kern County Fire Department's a family. And we got to check on our family because what they're seeing down there is unprecedented. You can only see so many houses burn and so many people displaced without, that kind of wears on you a little bit. So last Friday I sent my staff down there and I said, make sure you talk to every single person. and morale was high. Morale was good. They tell us they've never seen anything like this, but they're honored to be able to come down and help our neighbors. It is just a true privilege. They are just in awe that we could send that much help, and that they're asking me, can we please send more? Is there more we can send? And we're looking at that daily to see what more we can give. But our Kern County firefighters, as you saw Adam Schiff's post, numerous KCAL posts that you see our firefighters in the Palisades, on the Eaton fire, on the front lines. They're going house to house to house, just doing what they can with little sleep, just making sure that they help the residents down there. And we're taking care of them, and they say that they're doing well. In closing, I just want to say that, we talk about fire season. It's a season, and you've heard me say this before. It's not a season. It's a year-long process. It's January. We're 1 month into wintertime, and we are seeing unprecedented fire behavior. This never stops. And the only reason we can do what we do so well is because we have excellent firefighters. And we have great support from all our department heads, from all our elected officials. They've all reached out to me and say, how can we help? How can we help? We love you guys. What can we do for you? And then it goes back to this board. This board has given the fire department the utmost support. We are fully staffed. That was something that wasn't the case years ago. We have brand new equipment. That was something we couldn't say years ago. I have a full year-round wildland program. That means our crews are on in January because your board has given me the ability to do that. And I can't thank you enough. We can only do what we do because of the support and unwavering support we get from you. This concludes my comments. I'm open to answer any questions. Thank you.
Chief, that was such an excellent presentation. I mean it. And you make us feel so good with the nature of our department and our contributions to our neighbors, as we need them too in our tough times, as you know. But thank you, Chief. God bless you. God bless your team. This is a really excellent presentation. I don't see anyone has punched in. Colleagues, do you have any questions? Supervisor Couch.
I do. I just want to thank you guys. Pass along our thanks to your guys. It's got to be, I was thinking about that, the stuff they're seeing and how they're going to deal with that, just mentally going forward. I've been asked, so I want to make sure that you're able to respond to it. I know that this is not going to be a drain on the county's budget. Can you walk through a little bit of why that is? Because you've got guys that are in as you say, in the stations now. Mm-hmm. You're having to pay them overtime because they're working more than they normally would.
Sure.
Describe that just in general terms so that people understand that we're not going in the hole for this. We probably would anyway if we had to help, but
right.
But it's not going to be like that.
You're absolutely accurate. This will be no drain on county fund resources. We are reimbursed for every dollar we spend, every hour of overtime that we expend. We are reimbursed through the state or through the Office of Emergency Services. So the Kern County will be made whole. Most of the billing has actually gotten so good now, we'll probably be made whole before this fiscal year ends.
Well, all right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And just, again, tell your guys we're with them, and whatever they need, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch. Supervisor Peters.
Thank you. Just wanted to say thank you to you and your team for all the work you guys are doing. As you know, in District 1, that's where most of the fire activity seems to happen in Kern County. And we saw the devastation with Erskine Fire, Burrell Fire, and this is exponentially larger fire than that, displacing a lot of people. So I can't imagine what they're dealing with down there, but my hat's off to all of you guys. If there's anything that we can do or the community can do, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Supervisor Peters. Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I had the privilege of having a meeting with you yesterday and just talk about a host of things, and to thank you and your department for all the work that you're doing. Besides Supervisor Peters, I represent one of the largest mountain communities in the county, and fortunately we haven't been struck this year as of yet with this kind of tragedy, but you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And I know your team is ready. I had the privilege of being out, was it 3 weeks ago, Chief, for the new helicopter unveiling, Airship 409 at the Tehachapi Airport. Just a wonderful piece of equipment that this board has provided, and the county administrator office has provided the necessary funds for just a superior piece of equipment that is a game changer for primarily East Kern
to be able to do those services that are needed for the fire department. And I also had the pleasure of talking to 1301 local president yesterday to thank those members, of which are your department, for all their great efforts, and give them a job well done. Thank you so much, Chief.
Will do. And if I must say, President Local 1301, Jesse Waldowski is here today. He was sitting with me. We're in lockstep.
Oh, marvelous. Would he be available to introduce himself as the new president? Just briefly? Please. Our fire department has its management or its leadership that it votes in and out, and it just voted, and the firefighters selected this gentleman to be their new leader. As looking at you, I have a pretty good sense why, but I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Jesse Waldowski. I'm currently a captain up in Tehachapi. I work at Station 13 in Golden Hills. I've been in the department for 16 years. It's an honor to be elected by the Kern County firefighters and represent them. I'm very excited to work with the chief and agree with everything he said. So our guys are working hard, putting themselves out there, but also their families. When they're gone, they're without their families, and they need support too. So appreciate the time, and nice meeting you, and look forward to working with all of you.
How wonderful. Congratulations on your win. Leadership's a lot easier than it sounds, as you're learning, I'm sure. But I'm really happy to hear from you. Thank you again for what you're doing and what you do in your multi-decades-long service to Kern County. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Supervisor Couch said he started when he was 12. Us old folks up here just complaining, huh? Okay, also, if I could ask our CAO, Nancy, I understand you have some information about other county departments that are also helping in addition to our firefighters. Would love to hear a brief report on that.
Madam Chair, yes, we do have public health responding, and we have the sheriff's office responding in some capacity, and animal services, as you mentioned. So we appreciate all of them for doing that.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Appreciate it. Okay, it looks like we have come to the end of our board member announcements or reports. We're going to get to our regular agenda items, of which this morning we only have a couple, items 7 and 8. We're going to hear them concurrently because they're the same information, but we will vote on them separately. Is that right, Kathy? Okay, excellent. So under the CAO, we have item number 7. This is some good and exciting news. And so looking forward to hearing all about it. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. In 2023 state budget, $10.5 million was secured by Assembly Member Dr. Jasmeet Baines. The funding is intended to support various activities related to fentanyl misuse, including, among others, collecting and organizing data on the nature and extent of misuse, identifying and assessing sources and drivers of legal and illegal fentanyl and psilocybin activity, evaluating approaches to increase public awareness of fentanyl misuse, and developing methods to strengthen local efforts to prevent misuse. In January 2024, proposals to address fentanyl crisis within our community were submitted to Assemblymember Baines from various law enforcement agencies and healthcare providers. From these proposals, Dr. Baines approved allocating funding to several entities for the purpose of prevention, enforcement, treatment, and education. We as the county serve as the fiscal agent. Today, our staff, budget and policy analysts Amanda Ruiz and Joseph Arreola will be providing a summary of the recent activities, and they will be introducing our 2 items that relate to our inpatient detox pilot program. This is a very exciting opportunity for Kern County. We have limited resources when it comes to substance use, and I think this is a great pilot program in anticipation of what's coming under Assembly Bill 43. So,
excellent. Thank you. It's good news.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Today, as Ms. Martinez mentioned, we'd like to provide an update on the Kern County Fentanyl Misuse and Overdose Prevention Task Force and introduce the inpatient medical detox pilot program. Just a quick overview, as Ms. Martinez mentioned, $10.5 million was dedicated to Kern County for fentanyl misuse. In July of 2024, our office came before your board to present the plan for those funds and execute the agreements for that funding. Since that time, those agreements have begun, and in October, we held our first task force meeting. Our main partner include our lead, Assemblymember Baines. From that, our Kern County agencies have been working in partnership with our local law enforcement agencies and our healthcare partners. In July, your board approved agreements with local law enforcement agencies all working together on fentanyl suppression, and we're happy to say this work is well underway. More information will be provided later in this presentation. Our healthcare partners have also hit the ground running. Since our update in July, the county has also begun a substance use navigation program with Adventist Health, with providing navigators in their emergency rooms at their Bakersfield, Tehachapi, and Delano locations. These efforts demonstrate the intention of creating a regional effort to combat this issue. Today, we would like to introduce the inpatient medical detox pilot program. Good Samaritan Hospital will begin this pilot program for medical clients with 5 designated medical detox beds, which include 24-hour professionally directed evaluation, monitoring, and addiction treatment. This monitoring includes oversight by an interdisciplinary team, which can include a psychiatrist, nurses, physicians, case managers, and more. The interdisciplinary team provides medical and nursing services, substance use counseling, and case management. This pilot program would not be possible without the partnership of Good Samaritan Hospital, Kern Health Systems, and Kern County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services. The Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, will establish a continuum of care to support this pilot program. Kern County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services will receive substance use referrals during the program and support clients during discharge. Kern Health Systems will provide the linkage to their enhanced care management program as clients are receiving detox services. This connection to the enhanced care management program will support the transition of care and continue the necessary interventions needed throughout this process. Here is a flowchart to provide insight on how clients will enter this inpatient pilot program. On the left-hand side, you can see the referrals that may come from various sources such as emergency rooms, homeless outreach, or SUD access line. Each client referred in must be screened by the American Society of Addiction Medicine criteria. This criteria establishes a level for each client based on previous substance use history and other factors which will determine if placement in the program is appropriate. Entering into the inpatient medical detox program, which you see in the orange box, you will see that based on this criteria, a client's level must be a 3.7 or 4 in order to qualify. You can see the large green arrow at the bottom demonstrating behavioral health support in providing linkage to those substance use services. 2 behavioral health staff will be assigned to work with clients and coordinate with Good Samaritan Hospital staff to connect clients as they are receiving withdrawal management services. Additionally, you can see the dark purple boxes. Behavioral health staff will also work to determine the most appropriate level of care upon discharge, whether that may be short-term post-hospitalization housing, residential treatment, or a sober living environment. The large purple arrow at the top demonstrates that linkage to the enhanced care management for any physical health needs. As clients are admitted, Kern Health Systems will provide connection to the enhanced care management program. This will establish the needed healthcare supports so clients can continue their substance use services. The inpatient medical detox pilot program provides a framework on what could be a larger program. As SB 43 implementation gets closer, the need for inpatient detox programs will grow. We're grateful to Assemblymember Baines for securing the funds to start this pilot program so that Kern County is ready and experienced well in advance of that January 2026 We are also grateful of the many partnerships on this pilot program, which requires collaboration amongst many local partners as we begin this new venture. And now I will turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Ariola.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. The County Administrative Office has established a mechanism to collect and report data with data collection now underway. The program is currently in implementation with equipment acquisitions, the hiring of key personnel, and training efforts progressing to support and accelerate the program's rollout. I'd like to take a moment to highlight one partner agency, the City of Shafter. The Shafter Police Department has utilized funding for proactive street interdiction operations, the purchase of vehicle and search warrants, a drone for law enforcement investigations, and e-bikes for street-level narcotic enforcement. They've also hired a part-time community service officer to deliver fentanyl training. Initial reports from safety agencies indicate the seizure of over 54 pounds of fentanyl and the arrest of 21 individuals as of December 2024. According to the Drug Enforcement Agency, just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be a lethal dose to the average person. Through this program, the task force has seized 24.7 million milligrams, equivalent to over 12 million potential deadly doses. The task force has conducted both a kickoff meeting and their first quarterly meeting. The second quarterly meeting is scheduled for February of 2025, where we will review the initial rollout, assess data, and discuss potential operational improvements. I'll be handing the presentation back to Ms. Reese.
How exciting. Thank you.
Thank you. So the recommendation today is the 2 items. First, it is the MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding, with Good Samaritan Hospital and Kern Health Systems to establish the Continuum of Care pilot program. And the second item is the proposed agreement with Good Samaritan Hospital, which is for the funding allocation for the inpatient medical detox program. That concludes my remarks for this presentation. I'm open for any questions, and just wanted to also make note that leadership from Good Samaritan Hospital, Kern Health Systems, and our Behavioral Health and Recovery Services team are in the audience as well.
Thank you so very much. Excellent presentation. Thank you for all the hard work that you are doing. It looks technically difficult and very labor intensive, and we have never done such a thing. We know that we can't manage what we don't measure, and the data collection is so critical. Help us get a handle on this. This is really an exciting moment, exciting opportunity. Thank you for all the professionals that are making such a thing possible. Are there members of the public who would like to weigh in on this matter at this time? You don't have to, but you can.
Morning, Madam Chairman, board members. I am Charles Shin. I have a basic question through the chair. Do we have any idea if there is any other way other than coming across the border that fentanyl comes into the United States?
Thank you for the question. I'll see if someone in our law enforcement family can address that. That's a complicated question, but Mr. Shin, we will get you an answer. I see our sheriff coming down now. He is certainly the expert and looks prepared to address that question. Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. We do have information that there are other ways that fentanyl comes into our country, by sea, by air, by the southern border. But predominantly, we believe it's coming across from the southern border. It's where it comes, a lot of it comes from other areas, but our southern border is not secure until we secure that border. Even when we do secure it, we're still going to have, they will find a way to get some fentanyl in our country or drugs in our country because of the money. But securing the southern border is number one.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for the question, Mr. Shin. You know, and it's complicated too because there are the substances needed to make this come from all over the world as well. And we really even need international partnerships to provide these substances that could allow 2 milligrams to be lethal for a human being. Yeah, the international global partnerships on this, control of the border is absolutely critical. No question about it. Thank you for the question. And this is, again, a way in which we here at the local level can do something about what is a crisis that impacts all corners of this community, all aspects of society. This is not limited to any one group of people. It is very serious, and it is nice to see that we have all hands on deck, and we're really grateful for the opportunity. Anything else from CAO, or excuse me, members of the public? Sir.
I'd just like to give a personal experience with that fentanyl. I had a hip replacement 6 years ago. And coming out of post-op, they said, "Do you have any pain?" I go, "Yeah." Well, they gave me a fraction of that stuff, and it is a mind-altering substance. I grew up in the '60s. There were a lot of drugs back in those days, but this is serious stuff, and I know it's been going on for a long, long time. So, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you for sharing, Dennis. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Any other members of the public like to weigh in on this? Morning, Mr. Matthews. Good to see you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, distinguished members of the board, my friends. Good to see you, Supervisor Parlier. Speaking on behalf of our CEO at Kern Health Systems, Emily Duran, who could not be here today, but just wanted to share a little context for our partnership before we read a public statement. But several months ago, the CAO's office reached out to Kern Health Systems to solicit input on developing a program that would assist in addressing the fentanyl crisis. As my friend Dennis said, it is very serious. We know that, and we have to respond, no matter how it gets here. So we worked with Ms. Reith and Ms. Perez to develop a strategy that would ensure that post-inpatient detox, after that 30-day period, patients will have the support needed to continue their road to recovery. So KHS has committed 10 beds that will house individuals through our recuperative care and short-term post-hospitalization programs for a period of up to 6 months. And so we're excited to be part of this program, so wanted to share our formal statement. Kern Health Systems, Kern Family Healthcare, is honored to support the creation of an effective continuum of care for individuals in need of substance use detox. In partnership with Good Samaritan Hospital and Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services. And again, thank you so much for the strong partnership with the CAO's office. We're always delighted to work with you all. We will provide safe, supervised aftercare and consistent living arrangements for several months post-discharge. This program will provide the necessary resources and support for local residents who suffer from addiction and hopefully result in a life-changing experience. That is our goal, to engulf them with those surrounding services and care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Any other members of the public like to weigh in? Good morning, Minty. Nice to see you.
Good morning, Supervisors. Good morning, Chairwoman. My name is Minty Dillon. I'm the CEO for Good Samaritan Hospital. We are very excited to take upon this challenge of providing detox services in this pilot project. And I wanted to personally thank Dr. Baines, Board of Supervisors, CAO's office, Kern Behavioral Health, Kern Health Systems. We've been working on this project for several months and meeting on a regular basis, several of us pulling all of this stuff together so we can finally launch this project. I'm super excited to be here today, and we're hoping not only to provide this service at this point in Kern County, but hopefully we will be a leader statewide. I want to let everybody know this is very unique in nature from the standpoint of all the collaboration that's taking place in our community. So we're very excited to be part of the solution and hope to build upon that. I have with me Dr. Baga, our psychiatrist, medical director, who's going to tell you a little bit about the program so we can wrap a little bit of context around the nuts and bolts of the program.
Excellent. Thank you. Good to see you, Doctor.
Hi,
Happy
good to
New
see
Year.
everybody again. Hi, good morning, good morning. So I just, again, going with the thank yous, I just wanted to thank Kern Health Systems, Kern BHRS, and everybody, Senator Baines, for making this happen, because this is something that has been kind of close to my heart for a really long time as well. For many years at Good Sam, we've had to turn away a lot of patients because they didn't meet very, very stringent criteria. And there's no more suffering than having to tell a patient that's coming in to get help that, sorry, you're not sick enough yet. You need to go away, get sicker, and come back, and then I can probably get you some help. So this is something that we've been really hoping to expand, and with all of this help, and especially Good Sam's leadership help, who's stuck with us to make sure that we can continue to provide these services. You guys know that nobody else in the community really provides this level of service. There's nobody else that really has taken detox the way that Good Sam has taken detox, and this is just further proof that we are on the right trend, and we're going to be able to help everybody that we want to, and hopefully we don't have to turn away people when they're really calling for help. So this program is it's going to be very evidence-based. It's designed around the national guidelines for substance use treatment, and it allows us to treat people who aren't necessarily right at the edge of death, essentially. We can save them earlier than that, and we can get a lot of people, especially when you hear the stories of people who want to get better, who want to get treatment, who want to improve their lives, but just the withdrawals are so bad that they can't do it physically, and they're too scared to get the help that they need. So hopefully we can help those individuals. We're going to be working very closely with Mary Kay Shell, with the emergency departments, with the EMS, to be able to get as many people into this program as possible. Hopefully this is a stepping stone to a bigger program. I know 5 beds may sound like a lot to some, but I can tell you it doesn't sound like a lot to me. There's a lot more people that probably will need this help. We want to make sure that everybody knows about the program. At the same time, you are going to get medical care there. You're going to get psychiatric care. You're going to get case management. We're going to work with the discharge planners to make sure that you're not just left alone after you've detoxed. We're going to make sure we're going to connect you with resources. We have a good connection with Kern BHRS, our respite providers, our other community members that are providing this care. So this is hopefully going to be a really warm handoff. It's going to be the first step in the door for many people, and hopefully it'll open up a lot of other doors for people to help them up to be the most successful they can be. So again, very excited about the program, thankful for everybody, and it's going to bring joy to my heart to be able to say yes to a person rather than no.
Thank you, Dr. Baga.
Thank
you so much. I remember from my time as public defender, we never had these services. People have nowhere to go. A lot of people really desperate too, sick and desperate, but with some willingness and simply just nowhere to go. And this has been the case for a long time. So this really is very exciting. And, less judgment and more help, I think, would really take us a long way in this community. We heard from Dennis how simply one can become attached and absolutely just addicted through good faith and goodwill and a desire to live a better life. And this is really a huge problem, and I'm really grateful to you. Any other members of the public? Okay. Moving to the board, Supervisor Couch, I understand you're a leader in this arena.
Thank you for that.
It's true.
I do have a statement. I was contacted last night by Assemblymember Dr. Jasmeet Bains, who wanted to be here today, but has been asked to serve down at in Los Angeles due to the fire. So she asked me to read a statement into the record before we take any action, so I'd like to do that now if you don't mind. I want to take this is her speaking. I want to take this time to thank everybody in the county and my Kern community who helped make this possible today. I wish I could be there with you all, however, my services have been needed in response to the fires in Los Angeles. The Kern County Fentanyl Task Force has been meeting continuously, and I appreciate all the support from law enforcement and healthcare sectors that have worked with me on my mission to integrate healthcare and law enforcement to respond to the ongoing crisis of fentanyl and drugs impacting our community. As a doctor, I know well this critical integration is the missing key in providing real solutions to help hold people accountable and at the same time to help provide services for people who need help with their addiction. Nobody is immune to addiction, and especially with the types of drugs on our streets today, anybody can develop an addiction. It is up to us to provide robust services for people who seek help and at the same time hold those accountable for dealing deadly drugs to our children and community. Today's action is essential to this mission as it establishes increasing services to Medi-Cal patients for inpatient detox, which is innovative and critically needed. As a doctor practicing in Kern County, I know very well the need for this in our community. Excuse me, I'm thankful to Good Sam, Kern Behavioral Health, Kern Family Health Systems for working with me on creating this protocol and model that will be used across the state. Pardon me. It is an honor of mine to be a doctor, and it is an even more significant honor to be of service to my community. The ability to be a public servant is the most significant honor of my life. Thank you again, and I sincerely wish all of you, first responders and firefighters deployed to the fires, sincerely thank all of our first responders and firefighters deployed to the fires in Los Angeles. To the people impacted by the fires, my deepest prayers for you and your families. And she also says some nice words about me, but I won't bore you with that. Madam Clerk, could I submit that for the record? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so is that a motion on 8, Couch?
I will make that motion, yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on 8. Item 8. Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought 8 was the first. My apologies. On item 7. Motion on item 7. We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay. Having received public comment and board comment on item 8, is there a motion to entertain?
So moved.
Thank you, Supervisor Couch. And we have a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay. That is, having handled items 7 and 8, that brings us to the end of the agenda. Mr. Shin, I need to ask you something right now, so please stay. And that brings us to our closed session. We will be back at 2 with a proper motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jeff. We are adjourned.